Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another game I played on the Pokemon trading card game online. This time we're going up against a player named JavierF and we're going to be trying out Rayquaza Eelektrik. Now this deck is just a deck that just never seems to go away. No matter what new cards come out, Eelektrik always survives, and ever since Rayquaza EX was released in that Dragon's Exalted set at the beginning of this season, this has been a top tier deck for sure. So, I just wanted to try it out again and see, does this deck still have what it takes to be at the top of the tournaments, at the top of the game? Can we still use this in tournament play? Now, there are some new tricks that the deck gained with Plasma Freeze, but honestly, not many. A lot of other decks like Darkrai gained that Absol. We have the new Plasma deck. A lot of decks gained Float Stone. Rayquaza Eelektrik really didn't get anything. You do have the Mr. Mime that has the bench barrier ability. Unfortunately, I didn't have it at the time when I played this game, so that's not in this deck. So this is just a plain old Rayquaza Eelektrik deck. And it looks like we're going up against a Darkrai Sableye deck. At least that's what it would look like from the opening turns here. And we'll see what happens. Now, I did start pretty darn well with Emolga, Free Retreater, and then 2 Dynamos as well. So this was a pretty good start, I gotta say. I'm gonna go ahead and Energy Search, and then I'll probably just attach to Emolga so I can call for family and then get a full bench. So this is gonna be the best start possible, pretty much. I also get an Ultra Ball, which I can use to get a Lightning Energy in the discard pile. Of course, when you're playing Rayquaza Eelektrik, the first thing you want to be able to do is get those Lightning Energy in the discard pile, so that you can use Eelektrik's Dynamotor ability and then power up your big old Rayquaza EX. That's going to be your goal with this deck. Get as many Eelektriks in play as you can, and then just use Dragon Burst every single turn. Take some big knockouts, and see what you can do. So I did go ahead and play the Ultra Ball. I just grabbed an Eelektrik, since I can just call for family for 2 basics. And I'm just going to take a Dynamo, and then I can take a Rayquaza, and we'll be set. And then I'll have an Eelektrik for next turn. If he ends me, then, oh well, I'm going to get more cards, since I do only have 4 in my hand. But I wanted to play the Ultra Ball, get the Lightning in the discard pile. That was the big thing there. Now, Emolga is poisoned, so it's going to slowly get knocked out by that good old Hypnotoxic Laser that everyone has come to love. But, you know, there's no Burbank City Gym in play, so it's not as bad. I'm going to have plenty of time to kind of leave him up there, and maybe sacrifice him, who knows. Now this hand is significantly worse than my other one. As you can see, I don't have any supporters anymore. I do have Keldeo EX. I'm not sure if I want to bench that quite yet, because you might want to put down 4 Dynamos first. One of the ways Darkrai decks deals with, well, pretty much the main way Darkrai decks will deal with Eelektrik is to catcher out your Eelektriks, Night Spear, knock them out, and then take away your energy acceleration. That way you cannot power up Dragon Burst continuously anymore, and then eventually Darkrai will just overwhelm you, since you can't hit for big damage anymore. So I do just get Eelektrik out, we'll Dynamotor and a Lightning Energy on it to the Rayquaza EX. Got 2 Lightning on there, but it looks like he's just sitting back and junk hunting. Did not get a turn 2 Night Spear, and I have to decide, do I want to call for family? What do I even grab if I do that? I guess another Dynamo, or I can Static Shock for 20. Looks like I'm going to use Call for Family, because, you know, I am going to need to get as many Dynamos in play as possible, so I just go ahead and do that. And, yeah, I mean, my start is not very good. I do have 2 Lightning on the Rayquaza EX. I do have a catcher in hand as well. So I guess it could be worse, but could certainly be better as well. Now, he does play a catcher on the Eelektrik. That poison damage on Emolga did add up, as my mouse cursor is frantically signifying there. He can Night Spear the active for 90, and then the Emolga for 30, and take a 2 prize turn with Night Spear. This is where that Mr. Mime would probably be useful to block, you know, the bench damage from Night Spear, the bench damage from Landorus EX's Hammerhead, or even Kyurem's Frost Spear. These are all big effects. Or if you can block 30 damage from an attack, that can change the game completely. But again, I don't have it, and we'll see if we can survive without it. We're definitely going to be behind here, as he does promote this Darkrai. I assume there's an energy switch to go with this, and there it is. We'll see if he has a supporter as well. Looks like nope, but he's going to Night Spear the Eelektrik and knock out the Emolga as well. So I promote the Rayquaza EX because, well, what can I do besides attach a fire and use Dragon Burst for 120? But if I drew an Eelektrik there, I could have used Rush in with Keldeo, used the Dynamotor onto the Rayquaza, and then played a switch, and then I would have been able to knock out this Darkrai. But my hand is pretty bad. We have two catchers, a switch, a Keldeo, and a lightning. And just hit that Darkrai for 120. Don't have any Eelektriks in play. Do have 3 Dynamos still, so could be worse. And yeah, laser, I guess. That's where it could be worse. Now, he actually opted to discard a Pokemon catcher there. Instead of just knocking out a Dynamo, he opted to go ahead and hit the active, which was kind of a strange move, to be honest. I'm not sure why he didn't just target down more Dynamos. I guess with the laser and the Verbank, he wanted to go for a bigger play here. But this is going to allow me to get a knockout on this Darkrai. And it'll also allow me to, you know, set up some more Eelektriks. You can see what a beautiful hand, huh? We went from no supporters to, hey, there's the rest of my Junipers. That's always a pretty sight. And now, I mean, what do we even go for here? I can Ultra Ball for another Pokemon. I suppose I could get a Rayquaza EX, start powering it up, or another Eelektrik, and then just kind of Dynamotor energy onto the Keldeo EX to give myself a way to retreat it if I do have to promote it next turn. So I decided to go for the other Eelektrik since it's kind of the more difficult thing to get going. And I'll need to probably Dynamotor to Keldeo anyway, since I'll probably need to retreat it. So I just go with the safe play here. And we're going to knock out the Darkrai, and he really only has 1 energy in play, so he's going to need a big combination of cards to even do anything this turn. So I am, you know, not too upset about that. I am upset that I had to discard 2 catchers. I think I might only play 2 in this deck. I focus more on supporters and Bicycle to, you know, just get set up, because once you get set up, you really do kind of steamroll everything when you can Dragon Burst for 180 every turn. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, discarding those catchers was a bit of an annoyance, and you can see he kind of flip-flop strategies here. He attaches to Absol, Dark Patches to it, and then he catches out Eelektrik. Again, previous turn he could have catched out a Dynamo and taken that out, and then I would have been left with just these 2 Eelektriks. Now it would have been down to 1, so I'm not really sure what he was doing with that, but hey, I am good with it. I keep my Eelektrik. Now I have a decision here. Do I want to use my Max Potion on my Rayquaza EX? It's got 120 damage on it, but then I have to discard the fire. I decide to Bianca first to see what would happen, and I didn't even draw an energy. So I don't know whether that was the right thing to do or not, but I can still get a knockout on this Absol with 2 Dynamotors. So maybe it was the right thing not to play the Max Potion, and then we can save it for a later time. I'm not sure. I don't really think I can take a hit from Absol here. It would be hitting me for 100 damage with that Mind Jack attack. So I would like to just, you know, keep the pressure on him, keep knocking out the things that have energy on them, and maybe we can pull off a win somehow. So go Rayquaza, we're going to Dragon Burst, knock out the Absol, and now we're at 3 prizes to 3, and again, he really doesn't have much energy in play. He just has the 1 in the Darkrai, and that's going to make it so attacking will be very difficult. He's going to need either a Dark Patch or an energy switch to, you know, he's got another Absol back there. He could use that. But then I could just respond with another Dragon Burst, and then, you know, you got to think at some point, this guy's just going to run out of some energy acceleration, right? I mean, he's just going to run out of energy in play. I have the energy that can stay there the whole time. I have the Eelektriks. Every turn I'm going to get 2 additional energy in play. Whereas he's relying on Dark Patch, relying on Energy Switch. And a lot of those resources are gone. And this is kind of why you need to target down Eelektrik. Because you can, in the short term, you can keep up with this kind of exchange, you know, trading energy back and forth, because you have dark patches and stuff like that. But at this point, he just really ran out of stuff. I think he's used all of his dark patches, maybe. Just a lot of stuff is gone. And when all of your stuff is gone and you don't have much energy in play, well, what are you supposed to do against Rayquaza EX? That is Dragon Bursting you for 120, 180 every single turn. There's really not much you can do. So, from here, I am expecting to win, but again, he is down to one prize, so maybe not. I decide to go for the max potion here, and then we'll Dynamotor twice to the Rayquaza, and then I'm trying to Bicycle so that I can draw into an N and end him down to one card, because I think at that point, this game will pretty much be over. I decide to Bicycle, and then I did not play the switch, which I was just trying to see if I needed to play the switch or not. Depends on how many I have left. I could get stuck with, you know, if he has like a Crushing Hammer, maybe I would just want to keep the switch. I don't know. It's weird whether or not you would want to retreat the energy off or not. I really didn't want to retreat the energy off in case he played an N. That way, I would have been forced to draw back into my switch. So, I don't know. Now, he does play a catcher onto the Eelektrik here. So, I'm actually pretty scared. And there's a Hypnotoxic Laser. You know, if you got another, like, Absol and then a Dark Patch energy, I would lose. I'm not quite sure how many Dark Patches he's gone through. And here is the N. And no, he draws a Crushing Hammer off his N to 1 and discards my fire. And all of a sudden, okay, we're not really attacking anymore. This is a real bummer. I gotta think if that didn't happen. I think I would have just Dragon Bursted, knocked out the Sableye, and then I'm pretty sure we would have won from there. But now we're in an interesting spot. I mean, I have that Dowsing Machine, and I have an N. I obviously would like to attack this turn, knock out the Sableye, and I'd also like to N him down to 1, get rid of those Dark Patches. But if I don't attack this turn, I really give him another free turn of junk hunting, and I'll probably lose. So I'm going to check my discard pile, see what I can get back. Do I risk the N, or do I just Dowsing Machine, grab an Energy Search, and then just grab the fire, Dynamotor twice, and take the knockout on Sableye? That actually seems like the better play. We know his 2 cards exactly are Dark Patch and Dark Patch, which effectively powers up nothing. So, in order to even use Night Spear, he would have to draw an energy. And then if he draws an energy, I am still fine. I can actually just, you know, sit back a turn, rush in with Keldeo, and just Dynamotor until I win. I'm going to have enough time to do that. So here, I'm actually feeling pretty darn comfortable. He doesn't really have much, apparently. And we're going to Dragon Burst, knock out the Sableye. Now we're tied 1-1. Now I do put myself in sort of a vulnerable spot. I do have no energy on the bench Keldeo, so that could be a problem here. See what I get from the prize. A Float Stone. Alright, that is great. That works incredibly well with Keldeo. And oh no! He top-decked another Crushing Hammer and got another Heads. Now I just can't attack at all. I need a Fire Energy to use Dragon Burst. But for some reason he did promote the Darkrai, which does not have free retreat. If he had promoted a Sableye there, he could have used Junk Hunt. And honestly, I don't know if I could have prevented a loss at that point. But in this situation, Darkrai stuck up there. I was fortunate enough to top deck a Chorus. Did not get me a Fire Energy, but I do have a Juniper for the next turn. So I think I am okay at this point. I'm just going to take a look at his discard pile. Let's see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon Catcher gone. Unless he has Dowsing Machine, there's no way for him to get another one. So I'm not really worried at this point. I should just be able to win next turn. I even attach a third Lightning to the Rayquaza to be safe. And uh-oh, there's a Bianca. I'm not quite sure what he could draw at this point. But, man, that's scary to see. A 0-card hand goes up to 6 cards in an instant. And there's a Burbank City Gym. Uh-oh. You know, maybe... Well, that switch in my hand does protect me from a lot of things. So, I'm not actually too scared, but he does have a lot of cards to work with. Who knows? Again, it could be a dowsing machine. I'm not sure if he played an A-Spec yet or not. So if he has like a dowsing machine and then like an energy and an energy switch, he could catch her for the win. We'll see if he has those cards. But there's a Dark Claw. That means probably not. I don't think he has enough cards to do that anymore. And alright, he's going to rush in with Keldeo. And again, promoting that Sableye was a very not promoting the Sableye. Promoting the Darkrai instead, which requires an energy retreat. Looks like it really cost my opponent here. As we see a random receiver, and yep, there's computer search, so he doesn't even play Dowsing Machine. And at this point, what started off as a very ugly game, we have now managed to turn this into a win. I think so. We have 1 fire left in the deck, and then I can Juniper. Looks like I am going to Dynamotor just to make sure. I want to make sure I do enough damage here. But yeah, this is this can show just people really think electric decks are weak. Like, oh, Dynamo's too frail; it gets knocked out. You know, Night Spear knocks out Eelektriks. Hammerhead knocks out Electriks. But honestly, this deck is very resilient. It can keep getting Electriks out, and then eventually you just, I mean, you overcome, you persevere, and you Dragon Burst for 360 damage to win. So Rayquaza Eelektrik. It's not going away, folks. This is still a top deck in the format. It's never going to go away, I don't think. As long as Eelektrik and Rayquaza exist, this deck will be viable. And I'm sure we will see it during Battle Road. So, hope you guys enjoyed this game. Just wanted to post this to show that RayEel is alive and well. And expect to see it still. So, see you guys later. Pooka here from the Top Cut.